Welcome back to Pritches Get Stitches. Glad you're here. Glad you found us. Ollie, it's been like 8 months or something
Years.
crazy.
Feels like years.
It's been a long time since we've sat in front of this camera.
Ah, since May. I think mid-May.
It's your fault. I think it's your fault.
I don't know. I beg to differ on that one.
We were supposed to do a show while I was in Hawaii, and we never did.
I know. What happened to that, bud?
Just
Vacation happened.
Plans changed. Plans changed.
Yeah.
We were there 2 days less than we were going to be, and changed. So
That's all right.
here we are. Better late than never, right?
Truth.
Better late than never. So summertime, took the summer off. We were going to do the show in Hawaii. We didn't do it. But what else happened in the summertime?
I went to the beach a lot.
We went to a beach. We went to the beach a lot when I was there. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I went to the beach a lot. I worked and went to the beach a lot. I mean, nothing. Trying to think. Yeah. I mean, I think I had to go to. Did I go to Utah? I did. Oh, I flew to Dallas in June for my birthday. We went and did the baseball games. That just seems like so long ago, doesn't it? So, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, Giants didn't even finish at 500 this year.
The Giants suck.
Oh, they're terrible.
The Giants suck. Hey, but they got Buster Posey now.
They did. They finally fired Farheed, or however you say his name. And now I just need them to fire the coach.
And bring back Gabe.
I mean, I'd be okay if we had a losing record, if I at least had somebody handsome and sexy to look at as he walked out to, pull the pitchers off the mound. But watching this old man who's not attractive and is shit.
What if it was Bruce Bochy?
I wouldn't mind Bruce, but I think he's going to retire again.
But he's an old man.
The Rangers. I mean, that's all right though, because he took us to 3 World Series and took the Rangers to one recently, so I can trust him. If it was Dusty Baker, no, they didn't make it this year, which is why I think Bochy's going to retire.
Astros didn't either.
No, well, they did. They just got beat in the wild card by the Tigers.
They're 7 straight years at the ALCS or something like that. Crazy.
Mm-hmm. But the Tigers beat them with their old coach, manager, who was fired after the
after the scandal.
Yeah.
Well, good for them.
So,
they were probably cheating.
Yeah, truth. But we got Buster Posey, and I'm hoping we get a coach. I'm torn between, what's her name? Alyssa something. I can't think what her name is. She's one of the coaches on the Giants staff. She was the first female coach in Major League Baseball. So Giants made history there. And I think they could make history by making her the coach. She's been there for years. She's liked by the club. The players like her. They trust her. So I'm torn between her and Hunter Pence because, I love old googly eyes. I don't know if he's a good coach. I just love him. I could do Matt Williams. He'd be all right.
All right.
But we've got to do something because we didn't even have a good record. No playoffs again.
Well, I don't follow the Giants as much as you and Jared. Jared really follows them too. I mean, watches the games, the whole deal. I'm like, baseball's just not my favorite.
Did he tell you what I'm doing for his graduation present this year?
No.
Taking him to San Francisco to catch a series.
Why are you so quiet?
I don't know.
Is it a
maybe I got secret? Like it's a secret, except you're the only one who can hear it. So yeah, probably. So yeah, we're trying to find a date that he can fly out there.
All right. That'd be fun.
We're going to go catch a 4-game. I think we're trying to do, I can't remember when it is, but they play a 4-game series against the Padres. So I thought that would be fun to go. Since those are his 2 favorite teams, even though he doesn't really like the Padres, he just says that for his mom's sake. I figured, that way, at least if one of the teams wins.
That was his first hat. I think his first hat was a San Diego Padres hat. But
yeah, that's just because it was San Diego.
That's what I was doing. Yeah. Well, summer for me was crazy. I mean, we did vacation early. And, early vacation, and then it was just straight, just hanging out and, work. And, we've been...
You guys have sports or anything this summer?
No.
Like I know Lexi had band.
We did some volleyball stuff. So Ava's in a club now. I'm coaching in the club. And so we did some stuff through the summer. And then once the season started at middle school, we haven't done anything. So other than that, like we didn't play or anything. We just practiced. That was all.
Yeah.
But, yeah. But it was just summer. It was just summer. Now we're 2 months, 3 months into school, I guess. 2 months. Yeah, 2 months into school. And my schedule is crazy busy.
Reffing again.
Reffing football and doing all that. So it's straight up like, yes, actually I've had a varsity game every week. This is going to be my first week where I wasn't scheduled. But I just do fill-ins. Like it was too late for me to be on a crew because once Jared quit football, I think we talked about this before. Once Jared quit football, it was kind of too late for me to like get on a crew because they'd already set their crews for the year. But I've filled in every week. I've had a game and I've had some calls. I mean, what sucks is like we get access to the game film, and all the games that I've been in, there's only one. Like I've been in 4, I think, and there's only one that actually had the like film from the game. And I made a call in that game where, in the moment, I thought it was one thing, but now that I looked at the film, I'm like, it's totally not it. And, I mean, it is what it is. You're never gonna be perfect, but there was one this week too, or this past weekend, where I called a fumble because I was what they call a deep wing. I was the side judge, so I was about 20 yards off the ball, in front of the ball. And the kid's coming down, and he's coming towards the end zone. And from the 2-yard line to the end zone, that's my, I call that. And he's coming in, and
who does the touchdown?
Touchdown
guy.
Yeah. So if the ball is outside the 7-yard line going into the end zone, if it's outside, if it's at the 8-yard line and on, I'm the guy that makes the touchdown call. If it's inside this, if they start inside the 7-yard line towards the end zone, then I move back and they make the call on the goal line, the short wings. But anyways, this kid makes a long run and he's coming and he goes to dive. And what I see is I see the dive and then I see the ball come out, but he had never gone down. And so I ruled it a fumble, and then it was recovered by the defense in the end zone. So it became a touchback. But then like all the fans that were kind of standing around, I mean, it is fans. So you're going to have like, I was on the team that fumbled. I was on their sideline. And so you're always going to have like, you're never going to
hecklers.
Half the crowd's going to hate you anyways. And they were like, oh, his knee was down. So then, I mean, when there's 50 other sets of eyes, I've got 2, you know what I mean? I got 2 eyeballs. And so I was really wanting to see if that was really a fumble or not, but I called it a fumble, ruled it a fumble. I've got a lot of good feedback. So I think
a fumble. Is that what you were saying?
Oh, I don't know. I never, the game film. Like the team that we were, that the home team, they've submitted film like every week except this week. Like I don't have this week's game.
Gotcha.
And so I'm like, I can't even see it. So I've already been offered a position on a crew. Like he hasn't called me yet to solidify which position, but it was the first one I filled in for. And I was back judge, which is the guy in the middle of the field, about 25 yards in front of the football. And so he's asked me to be on his crew. I know he's going to get rid of his back judge. And so I don't know if I'll be in that position. I would much prefer to be on the line of scrimmage. I like to be kind of down that way as opposed to in the back. Just in the back, you really don't have, you don't get a lot of action. You know what I mean? Whereas when you're on the line of scrimmage, you're basically calling every play. So anyways, so we'll see. I mean, I have another game scheduled. This week is the first week where I don't have a game scheduled. There was a game though where I turned it back. Like they scheduled me for what they call a pool game. So they didn't have a crew to go to the game. So they picked 7 guys and put them together and say, hey, go, go officiate. And it was homecoming weekend and I didn't realize that. So I accepted it. And then I'm like, hey, I gave them a week's notice, but I canceled the game. And which, it was,
and they haven't called you since?
No. I live in Prosper, which is, north side of Dallas. And this game was in like south of I-20, which is south of Dallas. And you got to be there at 5:00 or 5:30. I'm like,
yeah.
And that address, like that spot, the travel pay was like only $20. And I'm like, I'll just skip this one.
A long drive for 20
bucks. So I turned it back. But I mean, I've had a game, I've had 4 games and I got one more scheduled for sure. And then we'll see. But I enjoy it. I'm out like every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I do Pee-wees on Saturday. So it's a busy schedule. Lots of
vitamin D. You don't have to take a vitamin D supplement. That's for sure. Getting outside. Oh, farmer's tan, big time, bruv.
Look at that. See that?
That is terrible.
Shirt comes down.
Terrible.
Is what it is. But anyways, so that's what we've been doing. So I try to spend, Wednesdays I take off and, that's it. Sundays, Wednesdays and Sundays. I can't do Sundays.
Busy schedule. Right.
They haven't.
You haven't gotten a call yet
up.
from the NFL? Not yet. It's going to happen.
Oh.
Do they have age limits? Do they have age limits in the NFL like they do like in the CIA and stuff, like FBI, CIA? If you
I think they got like if you're not in there by a certain time, like
right.
So I don't know. It's one of those things. I have a goal to get there.
Maybe they'll make an exception for you.
Well, I know what the goal. You have to be in college for 10 years, but then they have like a limit of 55. So I may not.
Better get on it.
But that's okay. Maybe I'll become like a review official where I do the official reviews. That'd be good.
Sitting in New York, you're sitting in New York in your suit.
I'd rather go to the game. I'd rather be at the game. Like, so they have like 2 officials that are up in the booth, like reviewing.
Oh, gotcha. You want to do that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could if I was too old. But anyway, so Holly, I was at Walmart before we got on, and I was like, I wonder if there's something that I can put on here. You know, I'm trying to still eat relatively healthy. I'm not 100%.
Oh, that shit's gone out the window for me, man.
Yeah, that's all gone. But I still try to eat as relatively healthy as I possibly can. And so here is something I thought. You know, I try to get my greens in, right? So I tried like a green smoothie or something to that effect. If I make a protein shake, I'll put spinach in it, things like that.
Right.
And so I found this, and I was like, oh, let me try this. I haven't really seen this before, and it is it's from your favorite company, Suja.
Oh, gross.
It's called Uber Greens. Cucumber, celery.
Hold it up again. Okay, yeah. Cucumber, celery, grapefruit, green chard. I don't know how that's going to taste good.
What's green chard?
Like none of this.
I don't even know.
Chard is like mustard greens, or it's like a chard. It's a green mustard, spinach.
Organic cucumber juice, celery juice, grapefruit juice, green chard juice, green leaf lettuce juice, lemon juice, kale juice, spinach juice, parsley juice, mint tea.
There's nothing in there even sweet.
It's got 6 grams of sugar.
Good for you. Okay. How much sugar's in it? How much sugar?
6 grams, but 0 added.
Okay.
So
once I get my back fixed, which I think I was talking about getting that done in May, and it's still not been done yet because of insurance. Then I plan on going back to the gym and getting back on my diet. But okay, here we go, man. I'm glad I don't have to participate. No?
Wow.
Not good?
It's all right.
Does it just taste vegetable-y?
Yeah, it tastes green juicy. Oh, I had one of these before, but it wasn't this one. I had a different one, a little sweeter.
I say you should put that into your smoothie. You should put that into your smoothie, and then you could just add like apples or fruit, and then you don't have to add all the extra vegetables.
Oh, that's terrible. That's a bad one.
Well, I'm glad I didn't get advance notice for that one, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm just excited that I just hope you lose our fantasy football league because you have to eat Marmite again.
Oh, Jesus. That was not the deal. That was not the deal. The loser
That's the deal. The kids got it.
The loser had to do chores. The loser had to do everybody's chores for a week. Isn't that what?
Yeah, but you're not there, so they want you to do Marmite.
No, I'm not doing Marmite. I can't even buy that here.
We'll send it to you. Well,
right now I'm on a two-game loss. Ava killed me last week. So then I go in to look at my freaking roster, and I'm like, Jared, how come all of my dudes are out? He's like, oh, well, I said they weren't like this when I did the game. Look, you see all those reds? Mm-hmm. I was like, yep. I clicked the quick lineup, and he was like, sometimes that happens, and I'm like, this is some crap. Oh, I was so mad.
Dude, Jace loves it. I mean, he's laughing.
It's the worst. And then I'm like, what's the red square mean here? And what does this mean? And Jared's like, just go ahead and push the quick lineup button. I'm like, well, how come this says this? So it's like all my teams got buys this week. And then I wanted to put like a different guy on there, but I didn't know how. And then I was like, I don't know. This is just too much. So now I just go on and push quick lineup every week. I don't do anything. And then I was totally robbed when you and I played. That made me so mad.
Dude, all I needed was Jamar Chase to get one freaking touchdown at the end.
And he did, like right at the end. Done. And you beat me. And
we were
so
screaming.
mad.
Everybody was screaming. Because Jared has Jamar Chase too on another league. And so we're watching it and it's like Jamar Chase touchdown. We're like, it's over. I win. Because I wasn't supposed to beat you. I was not supposed
No, I was like it was like 97%
isn't that the one
that I was going to win.
Yeah. And then freaking Jamar Chase. Because was that the one where
so
Josh Allen had a terrible game? Was that week? Or was that the week?
No, Josh Allen actually did really well.
Oh, yeah, that's
and
right.
they were leading by so much that they
last
pulled
week
him.
he had like 7 points.
Yeah.
Anyways, to our listeners.
Jalen Hurts is supposed to be good and he's shit. And of course he's my starter. Just mad.
So to our listeners, the reason why we're playing fantasy football, I hate fantasy football. I don't enjoy it. Holly's never even looked at it before. But we told Jace when he turned 10 that we would do a fantasy football league. And that was like, Jace will never turn 10. So, because he's been asked for like 3 years. And so we're like, yeah, he'll never turn 10. And well, he turned 10. And so he immediately is like, all right, we doing fantasy this year as a family? And Val's like, I'm out. And so they're like, who do we need? We have 5. We need 1 more. I'm like, I don't know. Ask Aunt Holly. So they convinced Holly to play fantasy.
I was like,
Jace,
Jared, I don't even know what this means. He's like, that's okay. That's okay.
Jace is such a homer. He has Brock Purdy, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Jawan Jennings.
He's got all those Niners on there.
CMC and Jordan Mason. So, and Jake Moody. So he's such a homer that he's like, 49ers.
Niners in. Well, I played Jared this week, and Jared doesn't have a very good record, so.
No, Jared's not very good, but I think did he beat me? I think he beat me.
He's got a 1 win.
Yeah, I think it was against me because Josh Allen had 7 points.
Yeah, I had a 2-0 record, and then you beat me in the very last 2 minutes of the game, and then Ava just murdered me last week by 60 points. She killed me.
She's got a good team.
And then I go to trade some players because I'm like, all right. And then it was like, you have too many people. Who do you want to drop? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know who I want to drop. I don't know who any of these players are aside from my 49ers and Kaimi Fairbairn. That's it. Those are the only players in the whole freaking league I know. Jalen Hurts, who's shit apparently.
Jace has Fairbairn, and he was supposed to text you, and I don't know if he did that, to tell your landlord that Fairbairn is on his fantasy.
So she asked me if I had Fairbairn on mine.
Absolutely, of course.
So Sunday mornings, it's football season. So football starts at 7 a.m. here, which is
early.
so weird to me. It's so early. But every week, she hosts a breakfast. And we do breakfast.
And Texans football.
Houston Texans football. And it will start at 7 a.m. Of course, I can never get down there at 7 a.m. We've talked about before how when you have somebody who's ADD, they have a unique relationship with time.
Right.
Where they don't consider all the factors into getting somewhere. So even though I just have to walk downstairs at 7, it's I'll lay in bed.
I can wake up at 6:55.
Right. It takes me 2 minutes to walk downstairs. Well, I don't consider all the other stuff. I have to make a coffee. I have to do this. I have to do that. So I haven't been there on time yet. But the last few times it's just been me and her and then the former tenant, Jeff. And then last week, her son came over for a little bit to watch Kaimi's dad. So we all watched it, but it'll start 7 in the morning. And, when I get there at 7:30, I usually get there between 7 and 7:30. I've got my coffee and she'll be like, okay, who's ready for Bloody Marys? And I'm like, I'm still trying to drink my coffee. So the first week that we're watching it, literally 7:30, she's like, who's ready for Bloody Mary? So of course, Jeff and her, me. And I'm like, oh, I'm still drinking my coffee. Well, I look over and she's walking out. I'm watching the game and she's walking out. And so I don't, I see she's walking out, but I look over as she's pouring Kahlua, which is alcohol, coffee liqueur, into my coffee. Hey, this will help you. This will help you. So I'm like, all right. So I finish my coffee.
Done.
And then it's then she's like, okay, who's ready for another Bloody Mary? And I'm like, I don't like Bloody Marys, but she's like, all right, well, I'll make you a Tito's and tonic. So it's literally 8 in the morning. And I'm like,
you guys are hammering.
Trashed. Yeah. So, but it's great. She does a whole breakfast thing. So this week it's my turn to bring breakfast. So I've got to go down and talk to her because like Jeff brought breakfast last week. So I've got to figure out what I'm going to bring. I think I'm actually going to pick up some steaks and we'll do some like steak and eggs or whatever.
That's good.
Or maybe I'll pick up some steak and we do like breakfast fajitas or something, breakfast tacos.
So we've moved our TV. Like we have that extra TV because we had our TV in our bedroom, and then somebody in our neighborhood was like, "Hey," it was on Super Bowl Sunday, and they're like, "Hey, I've got this 65-inch TV I'm giving away for free. Otherwise, it's going in the garbage."
You're like, done, on my way.
Okay, I'm there right now.
How did you see that before everybody else saw it?
I don't even know. It's because I'm always on Facebook, man. I'm addicted to my phone. So I ain't gonna lie, is what it is. And so we have this extra TV, and we just had it in the back for like in that back room, and but we've brought it out. We brought it out to the living room.
Wow!
Because it's so much easier to like. So it's not permanent. It's not permanent.
Oh, it's just for football season.
It's just temporary, but it's been out there for a while.
Got it.
And
Got it.
But it's just so much easier to watch it down there because then we can eat food and we can, we're not going upstairs and
right.
Get
what
stuck
did we
in that
miss?
couch.
And everybody screaming. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So, and then the greatest thing that's ever happened to me happened. And that was we bought new phones. And with our new phones, we got NFL Sunday Ticket, which is the greatest way to watch football ever. We don't have Red Zone with it, which to me is actually the greatest way to watch football. Because if the 49ers aren't on,
too much.
Dude, I love...
It's like overload.
I love Red Zone because if the 49ers are on, I just want to watch the 49ers game. But if the 49ers aren't on and I just want to watch football, Red Zone's the way to do it. But I don't have Red Zone with it.
You mean
if
they're not playing or if they're just not on TV?
Like if the 49ers aren't playing, like say it's the early game or the late game and the Niners are in their slot and you want to watch football, Red Zone's the best way to do it. But anyways, so we have that, and you've stolen my password, as has Chad. Mm-hmm. And I haven't shared it with anybody else because every once in a while I'll be watching it and it's like, you've reached the streaming limit. And I'm like, oh, no. And I'm like got to cut some people off. But I think it's only when sometimes I'll jump onto Red Zone and watch a different game, and then Jared will be on it, and then you guys are on it. And so, but it's never bad. And I always say like, because the business, the process serving business pays for Dad's cable. And so I use all of we use his passwords. It's because we don't have cable. We just have internet.
Right.
And I'm like, number one is me. I have number one priority. So if we're watching a game and all of a sudden it's streaming limit, I'm like, everybody else got to get out. I got number one. And then Dad's number two.
Makes sense.
But it's, so I'm always like,
Well, and I found out that, and I actually can use Susan's DirecTV, but she has the Sunday Ticket, but I think she shares it with Jeff.
But not on DirecTV anymore. It's not on DirecTV anymore.
Correct. So he's got a separate thing that's maybe YouTube TV or whatever. But he's like, we only get 2 profiles or whatever it is. So I was like, all right, Susan, I'm gonna be logging into your profile if I need to. But I've also just been able to, if it's been on Fox or something else, I just log into the Fox app using her login information for DirecTV.
Yeah.
And then usually it lets me watch it or whatever else she's got. So
So it's, we get all the football. No more Dofu this year. Not for us anyways.
Yeah.
So.
Right. And it's, it's nice to watch it, but 7 a.m. for football. And I will say though, I actually kind of prefer the 7 a.m. It is early. However,
I think you're done.
That's it. You're done. It's like, I got the
5
whole rest of the day. Yeah. I got the rest of the day to do whatever I want.
Sunday night game is the same time our game is.
Right. So I watch football with her and Jeff in the morning at 7 a.m. And then if the Niners are the late game, I go to the beach and have my little hotspot and I just stream it at the beach and watch the Niners play while I'm at the beach. And then I'm done with football for the day. So usually I'm done by, 1 p.m. So, but they haven't played at night yet, I don't think. Except for the one time they played like a Monday night football.
Monday night football. Yeah,
like the Jets or something. And I was in Utah on that one. So
the Cowboys coming up. Sunday night football.
This Sunday?
Be a good one. Not this week.
Oh, shoot. Oh.
This week we got Arizona. A couple weeks. Week 8 or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
Okay, so Holly, let's switch gears here. Talk about something really important when you talk about.
Okay.
And that is the 2024 presidential election.
Oh, Christ. We're not talking about this.
I'm just kidding. I just wanted to see what your reaction
I'm like, you lost me. Out. Done. Over.
All right, fine. You want to talk about that? Let's talk about Jesus.
Let's do it.
Just kidding. Okay, so we have a tongue twister, Holly. I sent you this
Oh,
one
I
the
thought
other
it was
day.
about my fun fact of the day. Okay, go ahead.
Oh,
It's not about Jesus, but it mentions God in there.
it
Go
could be.
ahead.
It could be. Well, before we talk about Jesus, let's do the tongue twister.
Okay.
All right, I sent you this one, so you have to do it
Okay.
since I sent it to you.
Okay, hold on. Got to make sure my mouth is significantly or sufficiently ready. One sock cutter, he cuts socks. Two sock cutters, they cut socks. Four sock cutters, they cut socks. Got it. Almost got me.
One
And I didn't
sock
practice it.
cutter. One sock cutter, he cuts socks. Two sock cutters, they cut socks. Four sock cutters, they cut socks. I'm good
Yeah,
at these
that
tongue
one wasn't
twisters.
too bad. You are good at those.
Yeah, but you say the C and the S wrong.
You in trouble?
Over. It's over.
Your mouth is being washed out with soap.
Okay, let's talk about Jesus.
Okay. So the fun fact of the day, not really about Jesus, folks, but so the fun fact of the day, which I'll give after some quotes here,
That stuff
it's
is
based
terrible, by the way.
around.
That's
I mean, I can tell your face.
Uber Greens is terrible.
Listen,
There was another one I
all
had and it was better.
Suja is terrible. Even the one that didn't taste terribly bad had me in the bathroom all day. It was awful.
All
Okay.
right, sorry, go ahead.
So, fun fact of the day is based around one of my favorite quotes ever by Australian poet Henry Lawson. And it's, beer makes you feel the way you ought to feel without beer. Good quote. It's actually kind of a sad story if you read the whole thing, but I won't get into that. And then the quote falsely attributed to Ben Franklin. I was going to say Beer Franklin.
Beer Franklin.
Beer is proof God loves us and wants us to be happy. So that's actually not what he said. And the real quote that he
I've never
said in
even heard that quote.
1779. You've never heard that quote?
No.
Man, I love that quote. There's a shirt that everybody has
You
or
would.
that a lot of people wear. And it's got Ben Franklin on there. And it's him saying, I never said that about beer.
No.
Because what he actually said was, behold the rain which descends from heaven upon our vineyards. There it enters the roots of the vines to be changed into wine, a constant proof that God loves us and loves to see us happy. So he was actually
So
talking about wine.
it's beer. It's beer. ... is proof that God loves us.
Right.
He wants us to be happy.
And beer is the fake part because it's actually, if you read it, he's talking about wine. But
Oh, wine.
and then another favorite quote by old Ben, in wine there is wisdom, in beer there is freedom, in water there is bacteria. So
There's
know if he
water.
actually said
There's
that one either.
bacteria in water. Yeah. You got it in quotes.
Okay.
So
But fun fact of the day, the world's oldest recipe for beer, which dates back to ancient Sumeria, is written on a clay tablet. I thought that was pretty cool. I'd like to see that recipe, even though I don't make beer. There's like a whole process in doing that. That's just too much for me. I don't even cook food. Like my dinner for the last, week has been Cap'n Crunch cereal. So
how are you even talking right now?
I know. I think they changed the recipe. They've changed
Like
it.
I think there's blood coming out of your mouth from the
The first time I
roof
ate
of
it,
your
I will
mouth.
say, yeah, the first time I ate it, I expected to just be cut up, and they've changed the recipe.
Oh. It ain't
gets
the Cap'n
soggy.
Crunch of our day.
No.
Ain't the
it's not.
Cap'n Crunch when we were kids.
When
that
we were
stuff-
kids,
Well, we never got
you
Cap'n
ate that.
Crunch.
You could only you got the fake
We got
one. What was the fake one called?
Fake Cap'n Crunch.
What was it? Captain
I
Admiral.
don't remember. I don't remember, but I feel like it didn't cut your mouth up as much as actual regular Cap'n Crunch. So,
All I know is Captain Crunch was
is it something
and
with?
that stuff.
No. The Mateys one is
Colossal Crunch.
Colossal Crunch.
No.
Yeah.
Is that the one we
Colossal
got?
Crunch.
Yeah,
I don't
that's it. Yeah, that's it.
The Mateys one
But-
is what you call it?
Mateys.
Something Mateys. Mateys. It's the gosh, why can't I think of it? The little marshmallows, Lucky Charms.
Oh. Yeah, I'm not really big into sugar cereal. One night I wanted Captain Crunch, and the only
Sugar.
reason I've had it for so long is what did I say?
I said I love sugar.
Sugar. Oh,
You
okay.
said
Yeah,
sugar
I'm not-
cereals, and I said I love sugar.
Yeah. I don't like sugar cereals typically, except for I do like Frosted Flakes and Honey Nut Cheerios, but that's about the extent. But every once in a while you really want something and it just sounds good. So I'm in the grocery store and they had Captain Crunch there and they had it on sale. I think you had to buy 2 boxes or whatever the deal was. It was like 2 for 1. So I bought 2. And so now I'm just trying to get through the 2 boxes. And what I don't like about sugar cereal is
And you
the
have to
milk
buy
at the
2 for
end.
if they give you a deal, you got to buy it. Because in Hawaii, it's like
You have to.
we literally were like, hey, let's get lunch for our kids, and like we'll just take it to the
$1 billion.
beach. and it's like $8,000 later. You're like, what?
I told you.
Just bought bread
I
and
told you
turkey.
guys.
I know.
Told y'all I wasn't joking around. It's
It
pricey,
is what it
but
is.
I bought the 2, and now I'm just trying to get through them and finish them off. Because I don't like, but what I don't like about sugar cereal is the milk at the end. I don't want my milk to be sugary. I just want it
the
to
best
be.
part. Well, what if it's like Cocoa Krispies or like Cocoa Puffs?
Oh no, I don't eat that. I don't eat that.
Well, you're missing out. You get Cocoa Puffs and then you
Are
drink.
you
this,
kidding me?
like, chocolate
Remember
milk.
the Fruity Pebbles we used to have growing up? Fruity Pebbles.
that's all
and
they at
chocolate
Grandma's
Pebbles
house.
At Grandma's.
That was
Like,
all
that's
Grandma's
what I'm
house.
saying.
We
That
never
was
got
so
Fruity
gross.
Pebbles.
Right. At Grandma, she always had Fruity Pebbles and Cocoa
Smoking.
Pebbles, and the milk was always gross at the end. I
smoking
never
crack.
drank it. Ugh.
Well, milk at Grandma's house is
Regular
always
milk.
gross. I don't know. Milk at
because she
Grandma's house
heated
is
it
gross
up.
because he heated it up, and her
Or it
eggs
was
always
skim.
smelled disgusting. I don't know why her eggs always stunk, but her eggs always
Because they
smelled
always burned.
terrible.
Grandma,
I don't know
loved
what it
her.
was.
She was so great at so many things, but cooking was not her forte.
That rash Chad got when we ate lamb. I don't know if you remember that. And then we always had the whitest enchiladas. They were made with flour tortillas. I don't know if that was Grandma's recipe or Dad's recipe, but it was
I don't
flour
know.
tortilla enchiladas with olives on top.
Speaking of, let me tell
Let's
you
go
my
to Mexican
story.
food.
Or
First
as
of all,
I like to call it,
Mexican food in Hawaii is terrible. I don't even know if we had any,
Trash.
but it's like we
Trash.
didn't even think about it.
I don't even like to call it Mexican. I call it Mexicant. I went to a Mexicant restaurant. So I decided the other day I got off work. I think it was Tuesday. I got off work and wanted to like get out of town, get out of Kailua, and like I just kind of wanted a break from like
Let me tell you, like your little
Kailua.
area over there is like, like you're there. Like
That's it.
there's. It's not like here where we're like, hey, let's just go down the road to Frisco
Right.
or to like McKinney. They
Right.
got something different. It's like
this is it.
my neighborhood, and that's all.
Correct. So I wanted to get out of town and I decided I wanted to go into get out of town. So everybody in Hawaii calls Honolulu town. So whenever you're leaving where you live, you're going into town. So I
Okay.
wanted to get out of Kailua. So I decided to go into town, and there's a museum there I've been wanting to go to. It's called the Bishop Museum. It's like Native Hawaiian museum.
Mm-hmm.
So I drive there. So first of all, I didn't realize it was as huge as it is. It's like on a big compound, like 4 or 5 buildings with like 4 or 5 floors each. So I get there and there's so much to see. I go in, I only get through one floor of one of the halls before I like just couldn't anymore because of my back, because I'm still waiting to get my back done because of insurance. So I paid $20 to walk around for like an hour and a half and look at one floor. And then I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. So I decided I was going to go get something to eat while I'm in town, something different. And I'm like, okay, so I'm looking at restaurants while this Mexican joint pops up, and it's got over 1,500 reviews and it's got like a 4.2 rating. So I'm like, okay, like, and I'm reading the ratings
Gotta
and
be.
it's like it's gotta be good. Like everybody's
Gotta
like,
be good.
oh, I'm from wherever, and this is the best Mexican food on the island. And okay, so I should have
it might be
realized
the best
that.
Mexican
Correct.
food on the island. Like,
That's
what's the
But then,
alternative?
right. But then a couple other people were like, this reminds me of home, like somewhere in Texas or somewhere in California. So I'm like, okay, it's gotta be good. And it's right up the street from where I'm at. So I go to this Mexican joint. First of all, the thing that I hate about I hate, like in Texas, if you go to a Mexican joint and you have to pay for chips and salsa,
Like, you just
like
walk
I ain't staying. Yeah. There's no way it's going to be good. Well, here you had to pay for it. But I'm like, okay, Hawaii, it's a little bit different than Texas. It was $3 and it was like our homemade chips and salsa. So they bring it out. The chips are like almost burned. They're cooked too long and not salted. And the salsa was terrible. It was like the weirdest. It was like, remember the time we went to the concert and we stopped at the Mexican joint and the
Yes.
salsa tasted like spaghetti sauce?
and it was hot.
It was hot. Okay, so this salsa was cold, but it still had that like spaghetti saucy. It reminded me of that, but then it was like they mixed that with a bunch of Frank's Red Hot,
Mm.
and it
That
was
was delicious.
so terrible, so
That's,
bad.
that's their spice. Their spice is Frank's
Right.
Red Hot sauce.
Right. So
It's not
then
even
I'm
like,
like,
it's not even hot sauce. It's just Frank's like
yeah, it's
like-
trash.
wings.
Yeah, it was so bad.
Wings.
So then
I
I'm
think I
like,
might go get wings. Wings sound
that you got
delicious.
that wing spot, super ring. Ooh, they got
Super
the best wings in all of Dallas.
Right across the street.
So good. So anyway, I see on the menu that they've got salsa fresca, which in Texas we call pico de gallo.
Pico.
So I asked the guy, can I get some salsa fresca? And he's like, some what? And then I'm like, some pico de gallo. He's like, oh, yeah. He brings it out. Literally tomatoes and onions. And that's it. So pico is tomato and onion.
Tomato and
no
onion.
Cilantro. Yeah, no cilantro, no peppers.
No liquid
nothing.
to it.
Just tomato and onion with a little tiny bit of like some tomato juice just from the tomatoes being in there. But no, like I make a killer pico that I got the recipe from your sister-in-law. And I love it. This one was so terrible.
Salsa that Bryson made.
Yeah. So good. So I'm like, okay, so this is their pico. So based on that alone, my expectations went very, very low. So I'm looking at like all of the other food and I'm like, I'm going to get a taco salad. But go ahead. You're like, it's kind
of like when we went to Colorado, like driving to Utah, we stopped in Colorado in the mountains and we went like, oh, Mexican, let's go to Mexican. And it's like terrible. And you're like,
yep.
Oh, the worst though was when we went to Atlanta. Val and I went to Atlanta and it was just
trash.
I'm just going to leave it at that. It was like the food. Okay, so they were playing rap music. First of all, the whole time, and they had locals that were the waitresses, the host, and Val. Being Mexican, she's like,
right.
Hey, to the waitress, like, hey, do you have any are there any Mexicans that work here? And they're like, yeah, the owners are Mexican and they work in the back and they're the cooks.
Chef,
so the food was actually not bad. It just was not the Mexican restaurant vibe. It just did not give off that vibe at all.
Hysterical. So. Well, it's funny you mentioned Colorado because I was texting Karen, about the Mexican food. And she's like, when she came out to Utah to visit me, she stayed in Colorado and the hotel she stayed at, there was a Mexican restaurant like across the parking lot. And so she texted, oh my gosh, that's just like Colorado. So she also said it was terrible. And Utah's got terrible Mexican food. Although that one taco truck there by cousin Susie's house, that dude's straight out of Mexico. Those carnitas, Susie, our cousin, those carnitas that man makes are freaking amazing. Better than any carnitas I've even had in Texas. So every time I go, we always hit that taco truck at least once. But anyway, based on like the salsa and the quote unquote pico, I'm like, I'm getting a taco salad because ain't no way they can mess up a taco salad. So first of all, you know the joint ain't a true Mexican joint when a taco salad comes out with black olives on it. And listen, I love black olives. I put black olives on my taco salads at home, but I have never been to a Mexican joint, a true authentic Mexican joint where they put black olives on anything.
Yeah.
So, and it's served with a side of ranch.
That sounds very what Sean Ratliff talks about with
correct
white person tacos.
100%. So it's like a terrible, terrible salad. The meat is not even good. It's got a little tiny like dab, like the smallest dab of guacamole and the smallest dab of sour cream. Like I didn't even finish it, to be honest. It was so awful. I will say that, the shell was good. The bowl, I did eat some of that bowl, but the rest was so bad. And it just reminded me again that you can't eat Mexican food here or in Utah.
You just gotta go. You gotta go like to that little hole in the wall we went to when we were in Honolulu. When we stayed in Waikiki and we went to that little breakfast place. That was good. Spam and eggs. It was really good.
How come you've never told me about this place?
Yeah, we told you when you were there. Harry's.
It's
or something
Mexican.
Like no,
you did not.
The local joint.
Oh, gotcha.
Mexican
I thought you meant
local joint.
A Mexican.
We ate local food when we were there.
Oh, okay. I don't ever eat local food. Local food's terrible. I'm sorry. It's like Elizabeth always says. Elizabeth always says, like, I loved Hawaii, but their cuisine is terrible. And I'm like, 100%. They are not known for their cuisine. It is bad. No bueno.
So Mexican is terrible in Hawaii. Let's open a Mexican restaurant, like a real Mexican restaurant.
I could. I do have some cousins or some sisters-in-law and stuff who are all Mexicans. Although I think Val's probably more white than Mexican. Don't tell her I said that.
She is. Don't worry, she won't listen.
Yeah, truth. So.
Well, Mexican. So if you're in Hawaii, don't do Mexican. Be like, yeah, I want Mexican. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Go somewhere else. Go to Texas.
1,500.
Even go to California, right?
I would take Cali Mex over freaking Hawaii Mex any day of the week.
Yeah.
And you know how I feel about Cali Mex.
I know. You love it. It's your favorite.
Mm-hmm.
It's your favorite. Holly, got a question for you.
Okay.
Do you ever get random text messages from random numbers where the people say, how are you doing today?
Mm-hmm.
And what do you do? How do you respond to those?
Okay, so this is kind of a funny thing because you were going to say something.
Oh, no,
You're like,
just listening.
Oh, okay. I have been on dating apps for, a while since getting here. And I'm also very quick to delete people out and not talk to them. Like, I'm not feeling it. I'm over it. But sometimes they don't delete me. And I don't always block everybody. Like, it's like, I'm just not feeling it. I'll just delete their number and don't talk to them anymore. And, and if we've met in person, I'll let them know, like, hey, just not feeling it. But if it's like we've never met, texting's kind of whatever, I'll just not respond. So a lot of times when I get those messages, I'm always like, ooh, is this somebody whose number I deleted who are like, hey, what's going on? Because most of them, I can always tell if they're the spam because they'll be like, hi, Elena, how is your day going? Like, and then I'm like, who's Elena? Because the first time that ever happened, I was like, who? And they're like, oh, this is Julie. We met. And I'm like, oh, this is totally spam. But now they've gotten smart and they'll just be like, hey, what's up? How are you? Or hey, how's your day going? Like they're buddies. So because I don't know if it's somebody I deleted, and if it is, I don't want to respond because I don't want to talk to them. I've stopped responding to those and just delete them. Because I don't want somebody to think that I want to talk to them.
I used to just delete them and put them as spam. But recently I just respond and just talk to them like they know who I am and I know who they are.
Yeah.
And of course they know they don't know me.
Right.
And so I just start responding, and my response is always.
Your responses are
so like that. One guy's like, hey, good morning. How do you do? And I said, how do I do what? I said, how do I do what? He said, I mean, how are you? I said, I mean, you trying to scam me out of some money? He said, who said? I said, he said, who said? It's depend on you. And how can I scam your money? Use your brain. I said, why else would you contact a random number for someone who you don't know?
Right.
Then I said, what would you like then? He said, aren't you my friend Lena who live in Killeen, Texas?
Oh, geez.
I'd like to invite you to the 2-year anniversary party of my clothing studio. Anyways, I went on and on. I'm like, dude, you don't know Alina. You don't have a freaking, I told him all this. I'm like, you don't have a deal. I'm like, anyways, when and where's your party? And he's like, none of your business. You don't need to know if you're not my friend. Shame on you. Anyways, then I said, you're about the dumbest scammer I've encountered yet. Offense intended. And blah, blah, blah. I said, you're lower than the scum of the earth.
It's true.
Preying on gullible people. I hope the fleas of 1,000 camels infest your pubic hair. So I told him. Anyways, he said, go tell your mom. And I said, tell my mom what?
Go tell your mom.
And then I said, are you 12? Your mom. Haha. I told him what a loser you are. So then he really got in and he shared something about a lot. There's a lot of F words and P words and talking about my mom and like all those F words and P words. So
which is funny.
I said, my mom's 79. You enjoy that? What a loser. So then every once in a while I kept his number. And I know he's probably blocked me, but I kept his number. And every once in a while I just type loser back to him. I'm like, how's your relationships with your 79-year-old women? Loser. Anyways, I just respond back like just to have fun now. Like, what are they going to do? They can't scam me out of anything.
Right.
So I thought about that today because somebody texted me today and I just gave another, like, there was another story I shared, like, it just on and on. Like, because before I'm like, I don't even want to waste my time with these people. Like, I'm just going to delete them. But then I'm like, I just want to have fun back and forth with them. Just act like, first of all, maybe I know them. And then sometimes then just see what they say and just basically call them idiots and how stupid they are. And so I just have fun with that.
And that's
so I would encourage everybody, like, loosen up a little bit with the text messages. They're going to come in. People are going to send text messages. So just have fun with it. And just, maybe they'll send you money. I always ask for money. Usually I ask for money. I'm like, They're like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm so glad you texted. I've been praying all day. I need $2,500 just so I don't get kicked out on the streets. My kids need food. And you're like, I said amen. And then you texted me like, you must be sent from God. Can you send me $2,500? And then like, they don't know what to do.
Right.
So,
you got to turn it around on them. And I would do it more. I used to do it in Dallas because in Dallas, I didn't really date anybody and have anybody's number, and now I haven't really dated anybody new in like, I don't know, a couple months. So
speaking of that, let's transition right there. Maybe we'll close out our show with that. We have a lot to talk about still, but that gives us some food for the next time. But I mean, some food that gives us food for the next time. That gives us some content for the next time. But let's talk about it. I see seeing a new guy. So let's close it out there, Holly. Seeing a new guy. You got friends that are listening. The last time I heard from you about guys.
I was about to say, the last time you heard from me, you hear from me all the time and you never respond. You're the worst freaking texter in the history of the world.
Listen, sometimes you text me in the middle of a football game or something and then gets lost.
You can respond later.
I always forget. I get a lot of text messages.
It's like,
okay?
you're
I don't keep your number saved. I don't know who you are.
You're like an out of sight, out of mind kind of person for sure, where I'm more of a absence makes the heart grow fonder. You're like, well, Holly, she's moved. See you later. Don't know her.
Bye.
Bye.
The last time we talked about guys, and I don't want to, hopefully it's not traumatic for you, but 2 nights in a row.
Oh, yeah.
Some dudes.
So I'll have to tell that.
Ghosted you.
That happened before. Yeah. So 2 dates. One of the dates I was on.
You were on a date. And the guy said, meet me over here. We're going to go over here.
Right.
So I'll just share the story so you don't have to worry about it. So you show up to the place. You both are there. You're like, hey, not feeling the vibe of this atmosphere. He's like, yeah, me neither. Let's go to this place. And you're like, great, let's go. I'll meet you over there. He says, park over here in this parking lot. You park over there. And you're like, I'm here. Where are you? And it's tweet, 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 tweet. Nothing. Crickets. And you're like, mother effer. And you take off.
Never heard from him. Yep.
The next day, you show up and you think you see the guy that he's there.
And I'm 100% sure it was him.
Because he said, I'm here, right? And then he never came up to you.
Nope. And that one was kind of a weird situation because he was there with his family because he was like, it's my brother's last night. They're visiting. So he's like, I'm going to act like I'm just going to come up and talk to you at the bar and then you and I can hang out and then they can go do their own thing. So I see him. He sees me. We make eye contact. He was there. Just never came up and talked to me. And by the time I realized he wasn't going to come and talk to me, I turned around and that dude is gone. Like he saw me and left. That was the hard part. Like
loser.
That just made me feel terrible because I was like,
because you have pictures. You have pictures on your profiles from when you were 17, right?
Correct.
No.
And the thing is, it's like all the pictures there look exactly like me. Now I will say, like the 2 guys who did ghost me, neither one of their pictures looked like them necessarily. I didn't get catfished because it was them.
Like your catfish.
But because it was definitely them, but it was like older pictures, like, oh, okay. Right. So on to you guys.
So then I come in, we're about to get on the podcast. We're about to start recording. My wife comes in and says, hey, Holly, how are you? And I have one of the earbuds in and I hear, I'm a new guy because I was kind of around the corner. And I'm like, wait, what? And then you said, you can't hear.
I made
tell you later.
Get off. Correct.
And so now I see it on here, seeing a new guy.
So it's still fresh and kind of new.
Uh-oh.
So I'm always scared to talk about it because I'm always the type that I feel like if I talk about it, I jinx it. It's also why I don't talk shit to people. Like if, the Niners are playing or the Giants are playing anybody I know who likes the opposite team, I don't talk shit because as soon as I talk shit, we lose. So I have this superstitious thing where I don't necessarily want to talk about it, but I do want to talk about it because I'm excited and I like him.
Okay. All right.
So he is local. So he is Hawaiian and
how'd you meet
Maori.
this guy?
We actually matched on a dating app. Maori. We matched on a dating app. And I'll be honest, I was like, he's all right. He's cute enough. He does. He's got the native, his chest and his arms. Very good looking. But his pictures don't do him justice. He's like a dude. I don't know why dudes don't know how to take pictures, but they just don't know how to take good selfies, most dudes. So I match with them and I'm kind of, or they're in the bathroom mirror and it's the phone's here and I'm like, bro, or hold on. I have to, here. And I'm like, the phone is literally in front of your face and you've posted this. Or it'll be like, my favorite one is like the guy who he's taking the selfie and he wants to show the ocean behind him. So it's like his neck up. And then, it always makes them look like they have a long neck. Like they're just terrible at selfies. And so he's got some pictures on there that I'm like, I can't decide if he's cute or not. But whatever, he matched with me, so I'll match with him. And then we kind of chat for a little bit. So we texted before meeting. This is very unusual for me, but we texted for like a month, just like throughout the month before meeting, because we were supposed to meet a couple times and he rain checked. And so I was like, I don't know if I should like give this dude another chance, but I didn't get the impression from him that he was lying. Right. It just, he had told me originally from the start that he's a single dad, like his ex-wife lives on island, but really isn't in the picture with his kids. And he's got an 11 and a 16-year-old, and that he works at a hospital and works long hours because they work short staff. So everybody works overtime or mandatory overtime. And then everybody has 2 24-hour on-call shifts a week. So he's like, it's just like, he's busy.
Crazy.
Got 2 kids. Yeah.
Like why we haven't had the podcast forever. Busy.
So we just texted, and I just kind of thought at that point, like, okay, it's just like going to be texting and then it's going to fizzle. Well, then he finally texted like Labor Day and was like, hey, I'm coming over. Like, I'm on my way to your side. Because we talked about it, but I didn't think it was going to happen. And he was like, did you still want me to come over? I was like, oh yeah, like totally. I'm at the beach.
But it's a holiday, so he can't park on the streets in Lani Kai.
He could not until 3. You can park in the streets in Lani Kai after 3. So it was like 6 by the time he was able to get there. And I was going to have him park in the driveway. And then he actually found a spot like right along the fence right there. So he didn't have to. But he got there, and I was already at the beach with my friend Lisa and guys she was seeing. And we were hanging out. So he texts us like, hey, I'm here. So I was like, oh, cool. I'll walk up and get you. And his pictures definitely don't do him justice. He was like very good looking, and it was like instant chemistry. And then he's also super smart. Like he works in the hospital. He does something with the cardiac unit, but I don't know. He just like, it clicked. It was like, I don't know. I like him a lot. He's 49. Just super emotionally intelligent, he's super, I don't know. I just like him. I don't want to juice it. 44.
44.
But
I'm 41. Everybody, just a reminder. Holly's older than me.
Yes, you do look older. But I will say, and I was talking to Val about this, I was like, girl, when I go to Dallas, I'm going to have to do some more EMDR with Mary, because this is the first guy that I've really liked since my divorce. And that brought up some insecurities that I did not know existed.
Oh, yeah.
Just like with
do EMDR. Do you have to do that in person? Can't you do EMDR?
I mean, you can do it. You can do it online. Mary, my therapist, I don't think she does it online, and she's really good. And I'll probably just, when I go there in December for Christmas, I'll probably see if she can get me in for a couple sessions. But it did cause some issues, like, because I've been...
Well, at least you can recognize it. Know that, hey, I got to take care of that.
And he actually at one point was like, I don't think I can like have this relationship. And I ended up having to text him a really long explanation about this is why. Like, I didn't realize this is what I was doing until like I was talking to my therapist cousin who pointed it out, who was like, you do know you're projecting all of Aaron's bullshit onto him, right? And I was like, you're right. I am. And so luckily, he, was like, okay, I'll give you another opportunity.
We have a therapist.
So, which I get. Kind of. She was married to her cousin.
Yeah.
But I don't like him. I just like her. So
I didn't know she was a cousin.
So, yeah.
I just know I have her Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Account.
So, so anyway, she was married to her cousin, and then they
just everybody knows. Like we don't know any of our cousins. Let's just throw it out there. Like,
well, we know our cousin.
We know Susie. Like Susie. I mean, that's Susie and Chip and Stacy, which I don't really know any of them. I know Susie probably the best of all of them, and I don't really even know her. Just from what you tell me. But other than that,
nobody else on mom and dad's side.
Pattons, I'm friends with them, but I mean, he's like
I knew Jenna.
65. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah, I knew our first cousin was removed. Yeah, Jenna.
I only know David's Jenna Barrows.
Daughter. No. Jenna is David's daughter, so she's our first cousin once removed. So she worked at the restaurant, right? But I don't really know a whole lot on Dad's side. I mean, we have, Ben and Becky, but they're friends on Facebook, or at least I am with Becky, but I'm not even on Facebook. But anyway.
You're projecting everything.
I was projecting and I had to have that. Yeah, I had to have that conversation. And it's very fresh that this recently just happened in the last week, that it was last Tuesday. He was like, I realized, and here's like when he was ending it. So he's a Scorpio, and I just like to read about the astrology stuff. I don't know how much I believe in it. Like Karen and I were talking about this yesterday, and she's like, I just don't believe that, like, because you were born on a certain month, on a day in a certain month, that you're this person. I said, well, I don't necessarily believe it, but there are a lot of characteristics that I can see when I read up, because I've never dated a Scorpio man before. So, and honestly, we're not a compatible match, supposedly, but
right.
I like him, so I'm like, whatever, we'll figure it out. But he is super emotionally intelligent. And so when he ended things, one of the big things that a Scorpio does, because they are so emotionally intelligent most of the time, and they're very like in their feelings and things, is they don't like other people to feel bad. So a lot of times if they're going to end it, they will put it back on themselves. And so that's basically what he did. Like, I realize now that I don't have time for a relationship and to nurture a relationship, and you're a beautiful woman and you deserve more than what I can offer. And I hope in time you can forgive me. And it was because I was like being a crazy person, probably like leading up to it, because I'm like, all of these things that my ex used to do, like cheat on me constantly and tell me he was someplace and he was with somebody else, it just got to me. And so then after that, once Kathy told me, like, girl, you are projecting, then it was like, okay. So I wrote a very long text explaining, because we've kind of talked a little bit about it, but all I ever told him was like, I had a rough divorce. I've never told him like anything about like the tumultuous marriage or the chaotic divorce and all that it was. So I felt like I've got to like bear it, because I've got to say it all to him, because Scorpios believe in honesty and vulnerability. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be super vulnerable, put it all out. And then he came around and we chatted, and he was just like, hey, I miss you. And yeah, so I was like, okay, I got to keep my anxiety under control now. So I've decided now I have to go back. But anyway, all of that to say that I'm seeing a dude.
There you go.
And I like him.
Congratulations, Holly.
Thanks. We'll see
Don't
where it goes.
screw it up.
By next week, I know. I'm like, by next week, it may not be anything anymore, because I probably will have screwed it up. But luckily, I have a strong support system, and especially
and I'll text you, every once in a while.
Yeah, I couldn't rely on you. You're like Susie. I always tell Susie she can't be my emergency contact because she never answers the phone.
I'll answer the phone. I'd be a great emergency contact. But if it ain't an emergency, and then sometimes
my emergency
here's the deal.
Contact.
If all of a sudden you start getting emojis on your texts, that's because I'm like, oh, I need to text Holly something, and I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't respond to any of these, so I'm gonna just start emojiing like. Yeah,
that's what I do.
I saw these,
That's
and
why
then I'm like, oh, okay, here you go. Here's my next text.
That's why whenever I rarely check my messenger, I'll see that people have texted me all sorts of reels, but I don't know. I just don't have like the attention span to watch all these reels, so I rarely watch them. But then when I do, it'll be like there's 20 of them. There'll be like 20 of them, and then I'll watch them all in a row, and then it's the same thing. You just saw everybody who sent them over the last like month. Right. They just get the laughy cry face emoji all the way down.
By the way, I need blah blah blah.
Right.
That's how I do. I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't respond. I feel bad. I mean, because sometimes I'm like, people ask me questions, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get back to them, but I'm in the middle of a football game, and then I know, like it's a halftime, maybe I'll look at it, and then I just don't remember. But anyways, well. That sounds very fun, Holly. I'm glad you found somebody. You look happy. You're talking about
happy,
it.
And I like him, and he's a good dude. I like him.
Well, good.
We'll see. I'm trying to just, live in the moment, be present.
Yeah, just be there.
Not project. Not make him into somebody he's not.
Be where your feet are, right?
That's it.
Well, school is out, so Lulu is here to bark at everybody that walks by our house. This is her daily routine. So, by the way, Holly, this little plant right back here.
Oh, it's grown.
We got 5 of those things now. We started with 2. Now we're at 5.
2. And then I remember I had 3 the last time we recorded. You told me.
I think we got 5.
You told me about the third.
1, 2,
it's growing.
5 of them.
Be big. What's its name again?
So, I didn't name it.
Yeah, but Val always names all the plants. That was
I don't know. Does she? I don't know.
Yeah, she's got Big Chungus, and she's got
Fig Chungus.
Big Chungus and something else.
So we got Figgy Smalls is upstairs.
Oh, Figgy Smalls. That's
Fig Chungus right there.
Oh, you moved it out of the.
Yeah, she got one of those little fake olive trees.
That's because Jared kept knocking that one over.
We got this guy. I don't know what he is. We didn't name him. Maybe I'll have to name him. But Anyways, Holly, well, good. It's good.
Yeah.
Good to hear. I'm sure everybody that listens, because the only people that listen are your friends. So everyone that listens will be excited to hear if they haven't already heard, which I'm sure they already have all heard. And they've all texted you back except me. You didn't tell me, though.
100%.
You didn't tell me.
I did not tell you because I was trying to save it for when we were going to record, because we were originally supposed to record like a month ago when Sean texted, was like, when are y'all recording again? We're like, oh, today. And then we never did a month ago. So here we are.
Well, next time we got some more stuff to talk about.
For sure.
You know, volleyball update, nothing going on there. We'll talk about that later. But, you know.
I got a couple funny stories for the next time.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever been to a stretch lab before? Have you ever had somebody stretch you out? Okay. Okay. Rewind. Have you ever gone somewhere? Have you ever had somebody actually stretch your legs, stretch your back? Like, you know, we'll save it for next time. Holly, good talking with you. I think we're done. Everybody, thanks for being in today. And we will see you next time. Take care, everybody.
Aloha.
Hey, what's up, my channel? Please hit the drop a like and hit the subscribe button. Looking for my first subscriber. Can't subscribe myself. Can't do that for some reason. I don't know why. Wish you could.